Greetings, Benazir.
How are you, David?
Very well indeed, and yourself too, I trust. How is the Pakistan you now see different from the Pakistan you left 8 years ago?
I do believe Pakistan is under increasing threat of an extremist takeover. And to save the country, I believe we must restore democracy.
Benazir Bhutto returns to Pakistan today after 8 years in exile, defying warnings of an assassination by Al-Qaeda and vowing to restore democracy to a homeland.
I would like to thank all of you who are here and accompanying us on the plane journey back home. This is a very critical moment in Pakistan's history.
There is real threat to the life of Mohtarma Benazir. There are credible and corroborated intelligence reports that terrorist groups are out to target Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto. The government is advising her to avoid long public exposures.
I'm unaware of the details of the security arrangement, but I think the biggest protection comes from God. And God willing, all will go well.
You think that Benazir Bhutto will have a third term as Prime Minister of Pakistan?
Well, this is up to the people of Pakistan. I've served them before, and it would be a privilege for me and an honor for me to serve them again.
We are here just for the Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto.
Are you from Karachi?
Yeah.
All for Karachi? What was that? What was that? Attack?
On August 14, 1947, a new nation was born.
Pakistan, created by separating the Muslim regions of India from the Hindu.
History is made. Our people rejoice. Independence for India and Pakistan.
When the British begin their departure, an era ends and a new era begins.
As the new dominions of Pakistan and India take over their own affairs, millions began a journey that over the months was to become the greatest mass migration in history.
The country was born in confusion.
People who thought they were in Pakistan suddenly realised that they actually were in India.
The rapes and brutal mass murders during partition affected both India and Pakistan.
Anywhere from 200,000 to 1 million dead.
Many will never reach their new land.
More than 60 languages are spoken.
The national language became Urdu.
But English is the official language, used in business, government and legal contracts.
It is the Muslim faith which holds the nation together.
Tension between Hindus and Muslims of India always ran high.
When India and Pakistan won their independence,
The partition led almost immediately to disputes.
Pakistan's very existence depended largely on adequate military strength should the dispute with India assume uncontrollable proportions.
The borderland Kashmir has been a disputed territory ever since.
the UN succeeds in obtaining a ceasefire.
Pakistan has never managed to get control of all of Kashmir.
We are making it very clear to both Pakistan and India that war will not serve their interests.
More than half of Pakistan's 63-year history has been spent under military rule.
A shortage of jobs, of justice, of good schools, of electricity and running water are the state's everyday failures.
Pakistan has achieved a literacy rate of only 67% for men, only 42% for women.
Government spending on education is just a small fraction of government spending on the military.
Money was pumped into weapons and into Pakistan's religious seminaries or madrasas.
For years, theirs has been a radical, ultra-conservative message.
Those same madrasas would go on to produce the extreme Islamist Taliban movement.
Honor killings, a traditional cultural practice, are widespread and legal.
Murder has been condoned by the state in the case of these barbaric killings.
The school was
19 people were killed in the explosion, more than 50 wounded. Among the dead, at least 4 police officers, often in the front line.
The militants' campaign is ferocious and widespread.
After 9/11, things changed dramatically.
Pakistan, a country with an extensive nuclear arsenal, is facing a very serious security challenge. In 1953, 6 years after the birth of Pakistan, Benazir Bhutto was born.
I was born on June 21st, 1953. My mother says nobody came to see her for 3 days in the hospital when I was born because they were all in mourning. So the girl had been born. I remember once he even mentioned to me that even the dogs were giving birth to boys and even the cats were giving birth to boys. Benazir. So my mother never liked that name either. She made me grow up thinking, I want to keep her name Naila. Naila is such a lovely name, Naila is such a pretty name, but they gave this horrible, ugly name, Benazir.
Benazir means without compare. B means without. Nazir is like, I guess, vision or comparison. Basically it means unique, one of a kind. And boy, did she turn out that way.
I am what I am because I am Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's daughter.
Bhutto was the quintessential charismatic personality. He was young, educated.
Zulfikar Bhutto was really a man of the world. He went to USC, and then he transferred to Berkeley, and then he went on to Oxford. And he wanted to be taken seriously on the global stage.
Bhutto was appointed to represent Pakistan at the United Nations. He was able to bring Pakistan in the middle of a lot of global discussions.
I think Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, what he had that made him so special was incredible eloquence, great belief in himself, and then a serious ability to do backroom deals.
Something that is very famous in Pakistan psyche, Bhutto, when he came to Washington, D.C. and met with Kennedy, Kennedy told him, Mr. Bhutto, if you were an American, you will be in my cabinet. Bhutto retorted back saying that, Mr. President, if I was an American, I'll be in your place. Here's a guy who goes to the White House and tells an American president that, you know what, I am better than you. He wanted to make sure that when he wasn't in the camera, his crease was fine in his pants, that he always wore the right set of clothes, that he always wore the right cologne. And every young man wanted to copy him. Whatever he wore became a fashion. Very flamboyant. He was the GQ of Pakistan.
Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was courting my aunt, Nusrat.
The minute my father saw my mother, who was so absolutely gorgeous, I think he flipped and was love at first sight.
I remember my mother being glamorous, well-dressed, and, so competent.
Nusrat was not only a wife, but a close partner of Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. She advised him extensively.
She was Iranian, and she was more modern than the average Pakistani woman. She famously drove a car when Muslim women were not driving cars at all.
The social consciousness of both parents was so powerful that it influenced all the children, not only Benazir, but Shahnawaz, Sanam, and Murtaza. It was like they were going to leave a legacy behind them so that the children could carry on, could carry forward. There was a reason why they were called the Kennedys of Pakistan.
Zulfikar's father, Shahnawaz Bhutto, profited from partition. He received from the new Pakistan larger than they can imagine, like Los Angeles County.
We were landowners, large landowners. My father was telling me, look at the way these people sweat in the heat and in the sun in the fields. It is because of their sweat that you will have the opportunity to be educated. And you have a debt to these people. You've got to come back and pay that debt by serving your people.
In a feudal system, everyone is beholden to the master. And this is what Zulfikar Bhutto, Benazir's father, came from, and what he was trying to change so that there could be some progress in Pakistan. He saw that countries that do well economically have to have some kind of a middle class that give the people the opportunity to move upwards.
For Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, education was the key for everything, not only for his own children, but for the people of Pakistan, because he knew with education, people will be able to stand on their own feet. They'll be productive members of society, and you can create democracy.
It was my father who was against the gender constraints of my time. He enabled me to appreciate that a woman is not a lesser creature.
I wore the veil once. When I was 13 years old, it's really like an initiation right into the world of adulthood. I remember when I wore it, it's hot, it's cumbersome, it's long, you trip over it. You can see the world through that black fabric. And it's not a clear world, it's a muted grayish world. Papa and Mommy went to their bedroom, and Mommy said, Pinky wore her burqa. I made her wear it for the first time. Then he was quiet for a while, quite thoughtful. Then he just looked up, said there's no need for her to wear it. It was an extremely bold step for him to take, because until that time, no woman from the Bhutto family who reached adulthood had ever gone without burqa.
Not too long ago, I sat where you now sit.